We're going to be learning about Jivamukti. I'm very excited. It's a particular type of yoga. And joining us now is HaChi. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well, thank
Yes,
you.
and namaste to you as
And
well.
namaste to you too.
Before the camera started rolling, we talked about the Dalai Lama, His 14th Holiness new cultural center up in Ithaca. And you shared with me an important fact about your journey. What was that?
Well, I have had the pleasure of going to the seat of the Dalai Lama these days in northern India. When I teach there, usually after I finish teaching a course, I go and I spend some time at the center in Dharamsala and do studies there. So I was very excited to hear that the center opened in Ithaca, and I'm looking forward to going.
At what age did you start practicing yoga? Because it is a practice, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It is, and it goes in and out. You know, nobody does anything all the time, every day, right? And that's what we forget. What we forget is, oh, I can't touch my toes, so I'm going to stop going to yoga class. Or I'm injured and I don't want to do chaturangas, and so I'm going to stop going. Or, I'm not this, I'm not that. And so yoga teaches that you already are everything that you need to be. And so we encourage the various studies of the yoga practices. In the West, we tend to focus on the one aspect with very fancy, expensive spandex and matching outfits, and that's all nice and everything. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, it's a much more integrated practice and much more rich in philosophy, in fact, than it is normally taught. And so it's an important aspect because it allows you to continue to hone and cultivate your practice way beyond the phases that you go through where, you want to get fit or necessarily, the physical level. So
Okay.
it integrates, yoga believes there are 5 bodies.
Okay.
And it integrates all 5 bodies. There's the physical body, there is the spiritual body, there is the breath body, there is the mental emotional body. And so these days specifically, with all the awareness in mental health and spiritual health and physical health, having an integrated way of practicing, as you were talking about, and cultivating various aspects of your practice give you a holistic healing aspect as opposed to just one little portion of it.
Lovely. So were you exposed to this learning as a young child, or was it as a teenager? Or
I grew up, my teachers who founded the Jivamukti Yoga Method grew up literally down the block. And so as a child, it wasn't like I wouldn't say I was like a serious practitioner, but I would go to yoga classes and stop in. And then, I was a dancer as well. So it was a nice way to kind of move and be athletic as a kid. And then circle back around 30 years later, and you find that you always return to what you consider to be a home. The home in the body, the home in the spirit, the home in the mind. And so as a child, it was maybe just another thing to do in the neighborhood, But as a grown-up, you realize, I don't know if I would consider myself a grown-up yet, but
yeah, I don't either. I know.
But in order to move towards that, we try to revisit the aspects of practice or play that we enjoy.
When something challenging happens in your life, do you turn to yoga to help you get balanced again? Is that one of the things that you personally use it for?
That's absolutely right, and it's not necessarily me. I think we all turn to practices when things are challenging in our life.
True.
Right? We may decide things are difficult. I'm going to take care of something. I'm going to take care of something that has life. Right? So we may water a plant. We may make a nice meal. We may be of service in some way to someone else that's struggling. And when we do that, we kind of bridge that sense of isolation. And usually when we're going through something challenging, we feel isolated, right? And we think we're the only ones going through this. My life is so difficult. and so practices, all types of practices, whether it's yoga or whether it's, boot camp or whatever, they bring us into in a moment of presence and immediacy. So those types of practices can be helpful for anyone to cultivate.
One of the things you talked about was breath, the breath body, right? So when you're practicing breath, is there an exercise you could do with me, just like a cleansing breath? Let's do that
Sure.
together.
Let's
That
do
would
that
be fun,
together.
because I
That
think
would
our
be
audience would really
lovely.
love that. Okay, so teach me something.
So you're going to take a full deep inhale.
Okay, through
and
my
then
nose?
Through your nose, and then exhale with a ha sound.
Okay.
And in doing that, you start to hear what you need to release and let out. Now we're going to do what we call an Ujjayi breath. This is the breath used typically in vinyasa. So vinyasa is a very common form of yoga practice, and Ujjayi means forceful breath, right?
Okay.
Victorious breath. And so we're going to take an even inhale, and we're going to exhale. Instead of saying the ha sound, we're going to say it in the back of our throat, so the glottis.
Okay.
I'm sure that sounds great on camera.
No, it's okay. I need to practice that, though. So that's interesting. So you breathe in through your nose, and then you want the sound to come from.
Yeah, you want the sound to come from, you keep the
Interesting.
mouth closed and you
Okay.
exhale. It's a way of also regulating the breath, right? Because opening the mouth lets all the breath fall out. So being able to close the mouth and exhale through the nose and control and being able to make it audible allows you to regulate the breath. And breath regulation is what calms our nervous system.
Great tips, and I appreciate that so
Yes.
much. Lovely to have you here. And I know we did have another dancer that was recording here today, and you got a chance to connect with them.
So
Are you having
exciting.
a good time?
I'm having a great time, and I'm so appreciative for your time and your enthusiasm.
I know that this is a practice that we could do online, but you also have a physical location for those that live in New York City,
We
correct?
do. We just opened our new Jivamukti Yoga Collective. It is in Chinatown, Lower East Side, New York City. And we offer group classes, we offer private one-on-ones, we offer off-site programs and children's programs, as well as for seniors. We also have a nonprofit where we are hoping to pull more knowledge into schools and practices into schools and local community centers that can support everyone having access to these teachings and practices.
I just feel like I want to go down on the mat like right now and just like start like doing it again. I took it in college, but I think I'm ready for some more.
Yeah,
Thank you.
everyone's ready to return to it.
Ready to return. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In yoga, I didn't even know that there were 5 bodies. Did you? Please Google them for more information and stay healthy.